Hi there guys, welcome to this video. My name's Will, and on this video I'm going to be showing you how to install the Microsoft Backup utility if you're still running a Windows XP machine. Now, before we get started, in general, backups are something that you really ought to be doing regularly. Now, I occasionally do some repair work for people who use computers in their homes, and the first thing that I will do, the very first thing that I will always do before I even begin to look at the computer, is check backups and make sure that they can actually restore if something was to go wrong. And I would say that around about 80% of people who use a computer at home, whether it's for business or whether it's for personal use, aren't doing backups properly. A few of them, the other 20%, they've got it spot on, but usually 8 out of 10 people are either not doing backups, have never even heard of backups, or they are doing backups but they're just not doing them properly. Now, it is possible for you to use a computer forever and never do a single backup. But the question is whether you are willing to take that kind of a risk. I mean, if something drastic was to happen to your machine, the hard drive fails, or it gets infected with a nasty virus, something like that, you're gonna wish that you have a good recent backup that you can use to restore your data if something was to happen to it. Now, this video isn't going to be about how to do backups. This video is just a tuition on how to install the Microsoft Backup utility that's included, that's actually built in to Windows XP if it's not already installed on your machine. And as soon as it's installed, you can go in there and you can back up your system. Now, this is a Windows XP Home Edition desktop that you're seeing in front of you. Now, depending on which version of Windows XP you're using will determine whether or not you've got the backup utility installed. If you're using Windows XP Professional, the chances are you're going to already have it installed. Okay, Windows XP Professional tends to come with the backup utility already pre-installed. However, the chances are, if you're using your PC in your home, and if you're using it for personal use, you're going to be running the Windows XP Home Edition version of the software, which is exactly what I've got on this desktop here. Now, for some reason, straight out of the box, Windows XP Home Edition does not include the Microsoft Backup utility. Now, I don't know what Microsoft were thinking there by taking it out, and fortunately, some third-party vendors had the foresight to add it in, so depending on where you bought your machine, if you're using Windows XP Home Edition, you could very well have the backup utility installed, but that's going to be because the third party that you bought it from actually installed it for you. But if you were to get a copy of Windows XP Home Edition, install it brand new straight out of the box on your system, you will not have the backup utility included. Now, what I'm going to do on this video is I'm going to do three things. First of all, I'm going to show you how to find out which version of Windows XP you're using, whether you're using the Home Edition or whether you're using the Professional Edition. Then the second thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you where the backup utility would normally be if it's installed on your machine, and you can actually see whether or not you've got it. And the third thing I'm going to do is show you how to install the backup utility if you haven't got it on your machine and if you'd like to back up your machine. Okay, now what I'm going to do first of all is find out which version of Windows XP we're actually using. So I'm going to come down to Start, then I'm going to go to Run, and I'm going to type in WINVER, okay? WinVer stands for Windows version, and then I'm going to click Enter. And this brings up the About Windows dialog box, and you can see right here that this is in actual fact a Windows XP Home Edition computer. Now, if you were using the Professional Edition, Windows XP Professional, where it says Home Edition here, it'll be replaced with Professional. Okay, Windows XP Professional. So that's a very quick way that you can determine which version of Windows XP you're actually running. Now, because this is a Home Edition machine, and because I've just installed it straight out of the box, the chances are the backup utility is not going to be on there. Okay, so let's find out. Now, the way that you would find out if you've got the backup utility installed is you'd come down to Start, you'd go to All Programs, you'd go to Accessories, System Tools, and it would be listed here. If the backup utility is included on your machine, it will be listed in this directory as backup. Now, as you can see, we haven't got a backup listed, and that's because we're using Home Edition and it's not included straight out of the box. So there's no backup utility on this machine. So what that means is we couldn't back up this machine even if we wanted to. Now, if that's the case for yourselves, you haven't got the utility installed and you'd like to back up your machine, I'm now going to show you how you would go about installing that bit of kit on your machine. Now, in order to do this, you're going to need to get yourself a Windows XP CD. Now, this would be the actual CD that you use to install Windows if you installed it yourself. If you bought the computer in a shop, you may well have had a Windows XP CD included with the machine. Sometimes you don't get them, but if you can get your hands on a Windows XP disc, then you can do this. It doesn't have to be the disc that came with your machine, just a Windows XP disc will suffice. That will allow you to put the Microsoft Backup utility on your machine. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I've got my Windows XP Home Edition CD, and I'm just putting it in my drive now. I'm going to close the drive up. Okay, so you put the disc in, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come down to Start, and you're going to want to go to My Computer. Okay, I'm going to click on that. And we're looking for the devices with removable storage. This is your CD drive or your DVD drive, depending on what you've got on your machine. So we're going to wait for it to detect the CD, which it's just done. If this screen comes up, then just click Exit. Just exit out of it. Okay, we don't need that screen. So what I'm going to do now on the CD drive is I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go to Explore. Okay, now these are the files that are on that disk. Okay, and if you want to install the backup utility, you're going to want to go to the Value Add folder. Okay, so go into that, and then you're looking for this folder here, the MSFT folder. So you want to go into that, and here it says NTBACKUP. Now that's the tool that we're after, so go into that folder, and this is what you need to run in order to install NTBACKUP on your machine. Okay, so we're going to double click it, and it will prepare the installer, and you'll see it run through. Just let that go through, and this will install the Microsoft Backup utility on your Windows XP Home Edition machine. Okay, now that's finished, so we're going to click on Finish. I'm going to close these windows out, and now that should have installed the backup utility. Okay, so I'm going to come down to Start, go to All Programs, go to Accessories, System Tools, and you can see right there, Backup is now installed. So we can now click on this to open the backup utility, which we can use to back up this Windows XP machine. Okay, so that's how you install the backup utility on a Windows XP machine that doesn't have it included. I hope this video has been some use to you. Let me know if it didn't work for you, or if you need some more help with it. If you've got any other requests, any error messages, any other problems with your machine, let me know what they are, and I'll produce a video to try and help you. Okay, thanks for watching.